I'm Dick Lefty O'Neill, and I'm a pitcher in baseball. I was the only white man to ever played in the history of Negro League Baseball for the San Antonio Black Sox. So when I went out on that mound, well, obviously when I showed up, people were obviously staring. They wanted to see the white boy. And then I had to be escorted to the dugout by the sheriff. And then that's something I never experienced before. And then when I went on the mound, the stadium was silent because they're looking at me, and I don't know what to do. And I'm saying, oh my gosh. And then I looked down that right field fence and left field fence and saw white people on the outside of the fence looking in, and I went, oh my goodness. I can't believe this is happening in 1974 and 5. There's Satchel. See, these guys are playing in the major league stadiums. So, and look at the crowds that would come to watch Negro League Baseball in major league stadiums. It was quite a show. My mother and father in Arkansas always taught me that there is no color. It's what's in your heart that counts. And as long as you think of that, son, you'll be able to fit in anywhere in your life. Now, I was taught that at a young age. So when I did these things, I was oblivious to this, that this was a big deal. If you're black and you want me to play for you, I'm gonna play for you. If you're Mexican and you want me to play for you, I'm gonna play for you. If it gives me an opportunity to continue the game I love. And I was willing to do that. I had no idea that what I have done would end up in the history books 40 years later and be called the only white man to play in 2 professional Negro League teams. You know, it was the situation, and it was all planned by God. There's nothing like standing on the mound, looking up the stands. The whole stand's black. They're playing their soul music. They're betting on the game. Now look down the left field fence and right field fence, and on the outside of the fence are white folks looking in. Wouldn't dare come in, but they're still going to watch the ball game. And then I go down and talk to the white folks. Said, "Why don't y'all come in? It's a lot of fun in here." And they said, "Well, we're not quite comfortable yet." And I said, "Then why are you here?" And they said, "Because it's the best baseball in town." I tried out for a pitcher, and it wasn't I didn't want to be there. It's just that when I tried out for them, and I might as well tell you who it was the St. Louis Cardinals. It was the Arkansas Travelers here, and I thought I was going to be a major league pitcher because I was having a tryout with the Cardinals, so I figured this was cool. But I come to find out they only just wanted me to throw batting practice. So I figured, well, they haven't seen a Lefty O'Neill fastball. I'll prove to them I can really pitch. And of course, everything I threw, they hit. So it was disappointing because up to that point I was doing very well. And American Legion Baseball in Marlton, I still hold a pretty good record there. So I figured I'm not going to go to college. I'm just going to roll right straight to major leagues. And I got a rude awakening that day. However, the people were nice that were there. Vern Rapp was the coach. Carl Sawatsky was the general manager. And they asked me to come back for the next 3 years to throw batting practice for them and suggested I go on to college. And of course, they didn't have to suggest it to me. I knew that it really wasn't time for me yet. I probably could be a good speaker for adversity training because I was probably the most unlikely person to be sitting here. I was slow. I was entitled a slow learner. I couldn't read very well. I stuttered. I had some adversity growing up, but I had loving parents that always were there for me that made me not think I was anything different. And so I would just let everybody know that if you have a dream, my father said, don't ever let these 2 words cross your lips. What if? It doesn't matter if you make it. What matters is, did you try it? If you remember back through this conversation, my dream was to be a St. Louis Cardinal. I wasn't good enough, but my dad said, try it anyway. Aha, try it anyway. At least I knew the odds were I probably could make it, but I tried it. Well, isn't it amazing? Because what I do now, folks, is I'm a professor, first of all, in San Antonio College, and guess what my degree is? I'm teaching people how to speak. If you remember, I was a stutterer. I'm now a professor in speech. If you remember back, I wanted to be a Cardinal. I'm now a St. Louis Cardinal scout. If you remember back, if you keep looking back in my past to the things that were challenges, they are now been rewards in my latter part of my life. I broke every stereotype you could possibly imagine for one reason, that there shouldn't be any stereotypes, because that's what destroys our dreams. You get put in a box and you can't get out of it. And folks, that was in the 50s I was doing that. It hasn't changed a bit. When I go talk to kids now, they tell me I want to do this, but they say I can't do this, or it hasn't changed a bit. But that's my advice. Do it. There might be people against you when you do it. Go ahead and do it anyway. One of my best friends was John Kicker Miles, who played for the Chicago American Giants and had been my friend for years. And what happened was, John and I sat down after the ball game, and he says, you know, Dick, you need to write your story. And if you write your story, you're going to tell our story also. Because we know when you write it, you're going to write it from a love affair perspective, not how bad it was. Before I published the book, I sent the manuscript to 7 of my ball players that played during that time for all black guys. I said, read the book and tell me what you think. If I've offended anybody, let me know. They all read the book, they all called back or emailed back and says, Dick, if we didn't know who you were, we'd have had no idea you were white. And I said, publish it. I wanted this to be to young folks and coaches. And I wanted this, in fact, Coach Frank Broyles from the Arkansas Razorbacks says that this book needs to be in every library in America. And it's because of the cover and the what is powerful inside the cover. Wow, look at all these things. But I got to remind everybody that I'm here only to let everybody know what a wonderful league and a history Negro League Baseball was, but I also want them to know that there's 14 years they haven't heard about, and that hasn't been told. So if this book does that, then I will have completed my mission.